everybody, welcome to Raising Vibrations. This is Simon, and today we're doing chart of the day, 28th and 29th of December 2015. Hope everybody is doing great, although I must admit, under the current astrological alignments and such, I suspect that we're a little bit overtired and maybe slightly exhausted, being the same thing probably, and just generally sort of waiting for the Christmas period to pass through, as most of us know that this period of time, as much as it is about family and reconnection, there's also that sinking into materialism where we get in some way, shape or form socially, we have social demands on us to act and behave a certain way. And when we really analyze that, most of the time it's just because that's the way that the rules are, versus us going, hold on, we might feel a little bit indifferent about this tradition. I think it's lost its, or in my opinion at least, it's lost its essential meaning. And for me, it took a lot out. And unfortunately, as much as it was an amazing experience in terms of the whole sort of get-together family structure, I felt a part of myself in like deep conflict. I was trying to heal that process, but it didn't seem to work as much as I would like to have had. So anyway, but chart of the day is something that I'm super excited to be sharing with you guys, as you all know. And the picture in front of me, or in front of you, also in some way, shape or form really captures the essence of what I feel when I tap into this energy pattern at this stage. And I think for me, it's this beautiful growth process that is occurring for us. There's some new illumination that has occurred as Uranus has gone direct, which we'll talk about a little bit more. Illumination, I'm talking about specifically the color of the sunlight that is on this bud, on this beautiful flower that's just come into creation. And there's a sense of freshness that has also occurred as Uranus has gone direct. And if we have a look at the actual chart itself, we can see that firstly, the sun is in Capricorn and the moon's in Leo. So we just get that out the way before we do anything. There we go. Moon in Leo, 17 degrees, and Capricorn sun at 6 degrees. I was actually going to do a full moon report for everybody. However, I got sick, or should I say my currency within my electrical field had just got depleted. I'd definitely been learning the Libra lessons of learning how to receive instead of just giving all the time. And so I was kind of depleted over the last couple of days, which is why I haven't been able to actually do a chart of the day for the new moon or the full moon. But I'm going to try to, in some way, shape or form, bring to this conversation what I felt was essential to understand about that full moon, and to maybe even in some way, shape or form, encourage us to recognize the importance of how that full moon was operating, especially because of the fact that Pluto itself, its polarity point situates in Cancer at this stage. And so, of course, that full moon will be bringing and highlighting this deep need for how to bring a tribe and a community together, and how life in itself exists when we have that community. And I felt that this was really important for us to recognize that we have this Christmas period that takes place in most cultures that gets celebrated, and people and everybody sort of gathers together, and we kind of open presents and so on and so forth, and eat some food, etc. But there's an element to it as well that we kind of condition ourselves to believe that it is through existential materialism do we gain a sense of excitement. And what comes out of this experience is that we learn to not only condition our children, but ourselves as well, that if we are receiving something existentially, then that is where excitement comes from. Whereas really it should be in the body. It should be the realization that excitement comes from something that is joyous within inside of yourself. But because we're pulled outside of ourselves, we don't really know that essential fire, essential spark, essential spirit must be found from within. And the separating desires that we have on the planet that bring us back to the physical plane are on some level because we seek excitement existentially. we get the new car, and so now we're excited, and then 2 weeks later all we have is this reoccurring payment that we have to make every single day or every single month to keep up with the appearance of that desire, and yet the actual experience of having that car in itself doesn't actually stay that long. And Scorpio in the birth chart brings out abandonment, loss, and betrayal, because we project existential sort of joy and happiness into our lives through things that are outside of ourselves. And when they change or move away or reconstruct themselves in different ways, then we experience that betrayal. So a lot of the time, Scorpio actually teaches us that found from within is where spirit exists, where security exists, where our sense of empowerment actually exists. And what I wanted to bring to the table regarding the Christmas experience was that life on Earth can only exist if there is an ecosystem that's supporting whatever it is that is trying to grow there. Okay, you'd find it very difficult for a polar bear to be existing in the middle of, say, for instance, Australia or the Sahara Desert, or you would find it very, very difficult for a bunch of souls that are living in Africa to just be put into New York City and to become sort of like overnight superstars and whatever whatever they're trying to accomplish. The point is that the Cancer archetype teaches us this necessity for community, and that community in its connection to Aquarius, and of course its connection to Scorpio, shows us that survival, Scorpio, right, Taurus, Scorpio, comes through community. And community comes through a collection of people that have the same ideas, a group of people, Aquarius, and that sense of nurturing and security comes from that, again, community archetype. We aspire, we grow, we learn. And it's that ecosystem that we grow in. But we tend to never recognize the importance of that, because we're kind of in some way, shape, or form conditioned to understand that Christmas is about giving presents and gifts, but not actually coming together to honor and to recognize the importance of exactly that, like family, unity, etc. And I'm most certainly not saying that this is something that everybody experiences. I'm most certainly not saying that everybody that is watching this video in some way, shape, or form is actually operating on that level. But this is a message that I feel is really important for us to recognize when we honor the full moon that's taking place. And of course, as the sun is passaging through Capricorn at this point in time, and it's in a balsamic phase. The sun will be moving into a conjunction with Pluto very, very shortly. We will be having a reconstruction of power, and this is going to be interesting. So watch the sun over the next couple of days. I would say at least 5 days, when everything starts to get very intense. And I would also recognize that if you've seen over here, Uranus has actually gone direct, which is, I'll create a whole entire video on this, by the way, guys. But Uranus going direct in itself is already giving us the go-ahead for this new direction. In fact, this is the last time that Pluto and Uranus will actually connect again in the way that they have been over the last 4 years. So this Uranus direct has really brought us and catapulted us into a new direction. And you can see it's actually making a trine with Saturn and the moon at this point in time. So a very small but beautiful fire trine has actually been one of the major reasons as to why the heat, as it were, has been raised. And we find it very inspiring and insightful at this point in time to begin new adventures. But yet at the same time, fire can also completely and utterly exhaust you. So I would recognize that today and tomorrow, at least in the context of Uranus sparking new interests and new directions and giving us to rise to the occasion, to manage your energy levels, okay? Because of course the fire in itself, like I said, will naturally create this burning out state of consciousness or awareness. Things that are also interesting to note, Venus is going to be moving into Sag very, very shortly. It's at 28 degrees, so it's very, very close to moving into Sag again. I'll do a short video on that as well at some point, guys. And finally, Mars is also going to be moving into Scorpio, which is interesting because if you really want to understand the Mars and Venus cycle in relationship to what they're doing, in contrast to the larger cycles of Neptune, Pluto, and Uranus and Saturn, this Mars and Venus cycle that's occurring through Scorpio is actually bringing into play what I consider to be the final reverberations or templates that are necessary to complete the Saturn in Scorpio cycle. Yeah, and you heard me correctly. The Saturn in Scorpio cycle that has been taking place since 2012, So even though it's at 10 degrees Sagittarius, Venus and Mars have not actually gone through Scorpio since Saturn was in Scorpio. So naturally, what's occurring here is that the final sort of like inner and outer relationships to ourselves are being implemented. And I feel that this is a great place for this to occur as Pluto and the Sun will start connecting with each other more strongly. So Venus has really been going through Scorpio, showing us this deep inner sort of transmutation that is occurring, especially, of course, through the winter solstice. And Mars then moving into Scorpio is going to bring us this story of, again, confrontation, but I believe in a way that is different. I believe that there's going to be more sense of feeling restricted than there is going to be of going out and being extremely confrontational. That's how I see this energy at this stage. And the reason why I say restrictive is just because of the Sun being in Capricorn and the experience of futility. So this is a period of time that I would recognize as just slow down, chill out, and really just pay attention to your energy levels and manage it as best you can. Okay? Right, guys, fantastic. Thanks so much for listening to me speak in Chart of the Day. I highly appreciate every one of you guys for watching the videos. I truly do. As I said, I'll be doing a video on Uranus going direct, and of course just a short little videos on Venus going into Sag and also Mars going into Scorpio as well. Other than that, guys, hit the like and subscribe button. Thanks so much for watching this and have a wonderful day. Take care. Bye-bye.